Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is actually a little bit different because it is actually my 100th video. So I'm really excited about the fact that I have been on here long enough to hit 100 videos. So I did want to kind of take things down a little bit. I did get a request in a previous video that basically asked me to stop flashing in and out, which is when I say, you know, I'm going to do this, and then I quickly blend and fast forward and cut to the next part. So I was told to like chat more and talk more because that's what people want. So I figured I would try it out and kind of break away from my norm. So this is gonna be a chit chat, get ready with me Q&A style video. I have some questions that some people have asked and I'm just gonna do that while we chat and create this look together. So I'm actually really excited because I did get to use the Morphe 39A. It has restocked. This is one of my favorite palettes, so the fact that I could use it again guilt-free makes me very happy. So if that's something you're into, make sure to keep on watching. And please don't forget to subscribe because I do upload twice a week and that is the best way to stay up to date on all the fun stuff I'm posting. And I'm also gonna link all of the products I used because I do kind of talk through this a lot and I do skip over some of the products so that you can know what I use. I'll link it. Also, I'm done talking. Let's get right into the video. So I'm actually really happy because it was a surprise restock, but the Morphe 39A Dare to Create palette, which came out in the holiday collection last year, was a favorite of mine. It still is, and it sits on that shelf right in this spot behind me. I love it, but I can't use it on camera because it was sold out. They did restock this beautiful palette. They did change up the packaging, so it's like this Morphe is centered and this gold foil is gone, which I'm a little upset about because I definitely prefer this packaging. However, because it is back, I will be playing around with this today while we chat. I don't know exactly what I want to do, but when my brother did my makeup, he used these shades. When I did my olive smoky eye, I kind of stuck down here. So I kind of want to play in this region today. Not really sure what that means or what it's going to be, but I'm going to try it out, and I'm just going to be dipping into some of these neutral transitions. Now, I know that I said that this was going to be like a Q&A chatty get ready with me, and it is, but the reason I'm starting with my eyes is for some reason when I'm blending out eyeshadow, I like can't talk. So I'm going to like power through the eyes as quickly as I can, and then when I do everything else, I'll be able to chat and give you guys the attention that you totally deserve. But I am going to dip into now some of these deeper transition shades, and I'm just going to continue to deepen the crease. Then I'm going to dip into this navy shade right here, and I'm going to start packing that onto the outer and inner portion of the eyes. This is going to be a little bit of a halo, possibly a like halo cut crease. I haven't really decided yet, but it is definitely going to be on the halo side. Then going into a fluffy brush, I'm going to dip into this orange shade right here. This is something I know I've said before, but whenever I go into these really like cool tone shades, I like to blend the crease out with a very warm color because I really like the dynamic you get when you have this really, really cool crease, especially when it is this like bright blue. And then you have the contrast of this very warm, blown out crease above it. Now you'll notice when I get to the outer portion of the eye, I am kind of like buffing it out in circular motions because I do want to like smoke this out a little bit. Can't go in with a shade that's quite this like grungy and blue and not expect to smoke it out a bit. Then taking a little bit of translucent powder, this is the Laura Mercier. I'm actually just going to take that and just kind of buff it above the eyeshadow and towards the brow bone. This is something I like to do when I work with these really like dark shades. When you think they're getting muddy, you just take this and all it does is brighten the brow bone, and it actually just tones down some of that shade and makes those edges a little bit less harsh. So everything just looks a little bit more clean and put together. Then jumping into my P. Louise shadow base, I'm going to take this. This is in the shade Rumor, and I'm going to take a little bit, and you really need like next to nothing. And I'm going to take that on the back of my hand. This is actually going to be enough for both eyes. And what I like to do is I like to take it on both sides of the brush, just so that the tip of this brush gets really saturated in product. And this is a NARS No. 7 concealer brush. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take it a little bit on that center of the lid and I'm gonna slowly work my way up to the crease to where I want it, and then I'm going to feather it in and out. Then taking your finger, just kind of pat out the edges on the inner and outer portion of the eye. Now I know this looks kind of crazy, but don't worry, it will come together once we start re-intensifying that blue. So then dipping back into that blue shade, I'm just going to pat out the edges of this concealer and just kind of slowly bring it in to the center of the eye. Now on my finger, I'm going to take this foiled silvery blue. It's a very frosty blue, and I'm just going to pat that into the center of the lid all over any of that concealer. And once again, taking that deep blue, I'm just going to kind of gradient the edges so that this halo is a little bit more defined. And now the basic shape of the halo is done. We can jump into everything else, and I'll be adding probably a little glitter later just to kind of amp this up a little bit more. But I can actually focus on you guys now because I'm done with the eyes, kind of, sort of. So I'm not gonna like announce everything I'm using as I go just because it's gonna make this video really long and then I can't really talk to you. But if you check the description box, every product I'm using will be in there. So right now I am priming my face with the Tarte Clean Slate Timeless Smoothing Base Primer. I feel like I use this so much that I should really know what it's called at this point, but you know how it works. Okay, so I did post in a Facebook group, actually. If you could ask your favorite beauty guru or YouTuber any question, what would it be? I didn't specify that I was going to be using these questions myself. However, I figured they'd be kind of cool to see what people want to know from others and just kind of answer that. So the first one is, would you ever get makeup tattooed? Why or why not? And I know that that's a trend that a lot of people are doing. And this is like not counting like microbladed brows. I obviously don't have that, but I'm not really opposed to it. But as far as like, there are people who have gone as far as to tattoo eyeliner on, I would absolutely never do that. Like, that's just a little too much even for me. I am testing out the Jouer Essential High Coverage Foundation today. This just came in the mail. I picked it up like 2 weeks ago, but I haven't actually tried it on my face yet other than to shade match. The one thing I will say is it's 0.68 fluid ounces, so I expected the bottle to be a little bit bigger, but if a little goes a long way as much as everybody says it does because of how high coverage this is, then obviously it's not a big deal. Like that was one pump, and that might actually be enough for the whole face. So it is already looking a little light. I'm hoping it'll oxidize and come down a little bit. I have heard it does. If not, this is going to be a holy hot mess because that's actually really upsetting if this isn't a good shade match. So just like I did when I ordered the ColourPop foundation, I put my shade in on the Jouer website and this is what they matched me to. So I'm really hoping that this will oxidize a bit because this is supposed to match perfect to my Fenty 200, and I'm going to tell you right now that this is not the same shade as my Fenty 200. Like, I'm going to keep buffing this out. 1 fluid ounce of product is a normal bottle. This one is only 0.68, but 1 pump did my whole face when normally I would go in with 3 to 4. So I am no longer upset about the size of the bottle. I'm really just focused on the shade right now because this is looking a little ghostly. This actually brings us to the next question. It was, do you prefer your foundation to be too light or too dark? If I had to pick, I would always go too light because you can always add bronzer and deepen things up. But if you go too dark, it could just kind of get gross. I will link a video right here of when me and Brandon traded makeup. He used mine, which was definitely a little too light for him, but he looked a whole lot better than I did, and I was using his, which was way too dark. Okay, now that I've blended this and continued to buff this a bit, the color has come down quite a bit. I would say it's still a little bit fair, but I will go in with bronzer and contour and all that and kind of bring all this back together because it is very pretty and it is definitely full coverage. Like, you can still see some stuff peeking through, but I used 1 pump. So if I wanted to go build this up, I could. I'm not going to. I'm going to stick to concealer for building this up. But yeah, that's that. What is the cringiest makeup trend you participated in? That's actually a really good question. There was a very brief point where, I mean, remember in the 90s when nobody like had real brows and everything was tiny? I never shaved off my brows. However, I did glue stick method conceal them and draw them in super thin. I would totally insert a picture, but I don't believe any exist to prove that because I destroyed the evidence. But yeah, at one point I definitely did like those super thin sperm brows and it was a hot mess. If you could only pick one influencer to follow, why would it be them? No. Who would it be and why? I can't read today. If I could only follow one person, it would be Tati Westbrook, the Glam Life Guru. I feel like that is the easiest question you ever could have asked me. Part of it is because I love her content. Part of it is because I think her personality is infectious and she's adorable. But the fact that she uploads 5 times a week, I feel like I would get more content than if I subscribed to any of these other people because, like, I upload twice a week and that is a whole lot for me. So I have no idea how she does 5. I am loving this concealer lately. This is the Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer SuperCoverage. This is the new one they came out with, and I have really been enjoying it. Like, do you see how brightened everything looks? I've been using the shade Porcelain, and I might have something I like more than Shape Tape. Don't hold me to that, but I might. What is a look, style, or shade that you haven't tried but want to? I'm definitely gonna say the Jaclyn Hill, like, over-brightened under eye. Like, you'll see every time I take concealer, like, it's a little brightened, and then I'll take my foundation powder just to tone that down. I love how she looks so, like, flawless and airbrushed under her eye, but for me, I think it would be way too bright, and I don't think I could pull it off. So that is something I have never done. What is one makeup thing you can't leave the house without? Like, if you don't have time for anything but one thing, what would it be? That's actually really easy, because there is only one thing. I work in kitchens, I work in food service, so it's not exactly something that I can go to work wearing a full face of makeup with. But on the daily, one thing I do take every day is primer. Now, I know the point of primer for most people is to, like, make your makeup last longer, but I find going in with, like, the Tatcha Silk Canvas or the Benefit Professional, just on the daily basis, it just kind of smooths everything and blurs it out without me having to go in with a foundation or concealer or anything. So if I only could do one thing, it would definitely be a blurring, airbrushing primer. And see what I mean? Like, I brighten and then I go in with a, like, this is the Fit Me Loose Powder in 15 from Maybelline. And that's basically like my skin tone. So, like, there's still a brightened under eye and I still, like, all of those bags under my eyes are gone. But it's not nearly as bright as, like, Jaclyn Hill's under eyes. I feel like I couldn't pull that off. That foundation's actually coming together really nicely. Like, it might have just been the Maybelline powder, which I have really been liking lately. But, like, everything is really smooth and airbrushed. There's a little bit of stubble coming through. That actually brings up another point. Thank you for reminding me. I reminded me, but thank me. I'm going to post a picture right here of an Instagram post that I put it up a few days ago. And it is a picture of me side by side of 2 very different makeup looks that I filmed. One where I was very clean shaven and one where I clearly wasn't. What do you guys prefer? So before I do the face, because I want to know where this eye is going before I go into everything else and see that, I'm going to tie up the lower lash line. So I'm going to start with a waterline. I'm going to start with a liner in the waterline. This is the NYX Eye and Eyebrow Pencil in Electric Blue. And this, the secret to these, they don't feel very pigmented when you try to use them. But once you warm them up on the back of your hand, you do get some really pretty color payoff. So I'm just going to take that into the waterline. Okay, that is really overboard. Okay, cool. Then I'm going to take that same navy shade I've been using, and I'm going to set that down and buff it out a little bit. Okay, this is getting really glam really fast. This is totally not daytime, but we're having fun. This is fun with makeup. Then with a fluffy brush, going back into that orange shade, I'm just going to kind of dust around that color, just to kind of blur the edges a bit and kind of mirror a little bit on the bottom what we did on top. Okay, we are blue and we are grungy, and I'm actually really enjoying it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to quickly throw on lashes off camera because that is not something I could talk while doing. I am going to be taking Lily Lashes Miami's today. I have used Mykonos, I've used a bunch of them, but I've actually never tried Miami's, so I'm gonna go put these on and I will be right back. Okay, so the lashes are on and these are huge. I trimmed them down and I think now that they're on, I'm gonna trim them a little bit more next time I wear them because they're looking a little voluminous on the inner corner. These are the style that I think are the best sellers from Lily Lashes, and what I will say now that I have them on, I definitely think I like Mykonos more. Okay, so to start warming up the face, I'm gonna go into a mixture of Donut and Debutante. These two shades right here. This is a Sonia Kashuk #1. And I'm going to take both of those. This is from the Morphe 8L Lo-Fi palette. And I'm just going to start bronzing up the cheeks. Okay, the next question is, if you could travel anywhere in the world for 1 month, where would you go and why? Honestly, I know this is going to sound really boring, but Brandon and I, it's not so much like paradise destinations that excite us. It's more the idea of like culture. So like I would want to do like like not a month in one place. Like I would want to do New Orleans and go to Louisiana. I would want to do Chicago because I've actually never been. I would want to go to like all of the major cities that everybody always raves about and just like spend some time getting lost in the cities, because as much as I do love foreign travel, and the time I went to Italy was probably one of the best trips I've ever been on, I still think that there's so much to see just like in our own country that I would love an opportunity to just go around and really just see what there is. So now I'm taking the Note Cosmetics. This was from BoxyCharm this month, and I'm gonna take this. This is so pigmented, like be careful. Like I did this in another video and people didn't believe me, but like touch, pat it off, and that's still gonna be too much. See what I mean? Like it's beautiful, but genuinely like you need no product at all. I've really been trying to use things I'm neglecting. So I'm gonna go into the Maybelline Master Chrome in Rose Gold on the Fenty Beauty Shark Tooth brush. And I'm just going to hit up the cheekbones. It just has such a pretty tone to it that I think is gonna really complement so many different skin tones. But unfortunately, like, I always try to use the newest things and the most exciting things, because I find in my videos that people tend to gravitate a little bit more towards like newer products and reviews and things they haven't seen. But to me, like I have so much awesome stuff that I wish I could be playing with. So let me know down below, do you prefer to see the best and newest and reviews of like all of the new releases? Or would you rather me like go back and say, hey, that thing you bought, here's how you can use it a whole bunch of different times and not just get one use out of it? Because like the biggest upsetness, that's not even a word. The most upset I was when this went out of style, when this went out of stock, because I felt like I couldn't use it on my channel anymore, because I don't want to be that person who's like, oh my God, this palette is amazing and everything, you should get it. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't. Like, to me, that's just kind of shitty, and I don't want to do that. So I really haven't. But if it's still in stock, like this highlighter, why not just kind of keep playing with it? All right, so the eyes are a little bit much, but I kind of want to amp them up even more. So I'm going to grab a Stila glitter. This is in Perlina, which is a white iridescent, which looks like it's going to be a little bit much when you go into it. And it kind of is. But if you just, I won't take this like I will with the other ones. This instead, I will just take it on my finger and I will just kind of pat it on. And you just see how it gives just this so much more vibrancy compared to the other side. It's such a pretty texture. All right, we're almost there. Next question. In your opinion, what is the next big trend coming? With Instagram brows heading out the door, what can we expect? I definitely think with the P. Louise Makeup Academy Instagram profile and Mitchell, I love his work. These like super bold, super colorful looks with super bronzy skin. So I feel like there's just gonna be such an emphasis on complexion, because we've been on such a like highlighting craze and these beautiful eyeshadows and giant lashes and brows that I feel like everything's gonna kind of come full circle and everything's just gonna be like the glass skin porcelain face, and really just emphasizing having a perfect canvas base for everything else. I know that that's really boring and people want like feather brows and all that crap, but for me, like complexion, if I could pick one thing that's gonna come in, it's going to be flawless complexion. Now I have no idea what lip color to do, because like normally I would go super nude with this, but I feel like everybody on the last video where I did the bright red lip, Everybody was so well receptive. The word Brett is receptive. Everybody was so receptive to such a vibrant color that I kind of want to do something a little bit more, for lack of a better word, exciting on the lips. What about this? Brandon had me pick up a, like, it looks like this, but it's actually a, like, gray purple. Maybe that'd be a pretty nude. I'm going to try this. This is from NYX. This is the Suede Matte Lipstick in the shade Moonwalk. I actually did pick up the corresponding liner as well. So I'm going to line the lips and try this out, because worst thing that could happen is we could hate it and switch to a different color. So I really like the tone of this. So if this lipstick becomes too overwhelming, I am going to stick to this liner and just throw a gloss on top, but I'm definitely going to try it first. So I'm kind of loving this like gray purple lip, especially with this blue eye. But I'm going to add a little bit of gloss to the center of the lip. I'm going to dip into Your Mom from Hank and Henry Beauty. I don't want a lot of this, so I'm going to take just a very small amount on the tip of my finger and pat it on what I call the juicy part of the lips. And you see how that just gives it a little bit more of like this transformative glow? And that's the finished look. So this was really a lot of fun, and I'm so happy that I made it to 100 videos. One of the biggest things that I knew when I started my channel was that a lot of videos go up and the people who upload them never upload anything ever again. I did not want to be one of those people. I wanted to be somebody who was here and somebody who repetitively came back with more content. So 100 videos in, I have absolutely no plan on stopping anytime soon. So thank you all for 100 fantastic videos and support and 1,200 subscribers, which is absolutely awesome. So thank you again, and I will see you next time. Bye.